Hi guys, I'm Tony Aden, and today we are going to play with the command iSearchForward, and specifically we are going to create a command that only search the terms that are on the headline. So for instance, the command iSearch normally, if we use it right now, we will match the foo here that is inside the headline 2.1 and also this one and the last one there. But the thing that we want is to just match the one that are not this one and this other one. Those one are inside an headline, and we want the one on the headline. So let's see how we can do that. So here are the cheat sheet of the function that we are going to use, or variable. The function that we are going to write is called SoForward. So is for search outline, and we search forward. So we have here, we can try it right now just with iSearchForward that we are going to call. We can evaluate that command. Here we bind it to control if1 and we can test it. So right now if I do control if1, it will call, as we can see on the mod line, SoForward, search outline forward, and if we press F8 for foo, it will match the 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4, the 6 foo that we have. And now we are going to work to not match this one and this other one. So what we can use is the variable, we have it, which is called iSearchFilterPredicate. So let's look what does this function do. So predicate to filter hits of hashes on replace command. So here we have something more that say hash search hits that don't satisfy the predicate will be skipped. So we have to write a filter that return true only on the headline, and we want not to bind that variable globally, but just in a late bind around this other. Here we have it around the call of iSearchForward. So here we have the let binding, and here we have to bind it to some function that we can call. So we can so search and we can call it, let's say, filter. Let's call it filter. We defined it. So filter, so it takes, let's go back to the help buffer. So it's, where does it say? Okay, it will be called with the position of the start and the end of the text matched by iSearch and replace command. So we have to give it an argument begin and end, but in fact we are not going to use them. What we want to do is to return true when we are at a heading. So we have that function that we can look at, org at heading -p, that return non-nil when on an headline. So let's go to this buffer, and if we passed it in the mini buffer and evaluate it, it should return nil because we are not on a headline. But if we are on that line and we apply it, it will return true because we are on a headline. So this is the function that we want to use. So we go back to the buffer not.l. We are going to call it here, and I tell you this right now because maybe we skip it. We have to this function. Okay, here. So this function is expected to be careful not to clobber the match data. So as we are, when we do an iSearch, we are playing with the match data that we do. So we have to be sure that when we apply here that function, the filter, we don't change the match data. So there is a macro that we can use to do that, that is called save match data, that we have here, and you can see execute the body form, restoring the global value of the match data. So here we use that function. So when we are going to apply the filter here, okay, so we change that variable when you do the iSearch. This will call the filter, and the filter is this one that will check to know if we are at a headline. So let's evaluate that function. We evaluate again so forward. So let's go back to foo, and now I will go at the top of this, and which should match only the foo that are not white in our buffer, but the foo that are not on headline. So let's try it. You see the mod line that we are calling so forward, and we call foo, and now we really don't match, or we can say we match the foo that are on headlines. Okay, so we can think we are done, and this is great, it works. And when you have a large org mod file, and sometimes you just want to match the headline, and you don't want to use the mini buffer to select headlines, you might like this kind of command, but there's something that maybe we don't have it right so far, because you see here we have foo that is on the headline at level 3, and if we go there, we are going to, it's not visible right now, but we are going to match it. So if we do the command so forward, you see that we are going to move to something that is hidden. So now it would be cool that to still match those lines, but to make visible the part of the buffer that is hidden right now. So this is possible. So we are going to do it right now, and to do that we are going to use a hook that we are going to call before here. It is called iSearch update post hook. So you see I don't know the name of the variable by hand. I have a cheat sheet to do it, or when I'm working I look for the hook that exists for the iSearch command, and I will pick the one that fits better. And the great thing with the built-in documentation of Emacs is that now we can look at the definition of this hook that say function to call after iSearch has found matches in the buffer. So each time we go to another match, the hook will be applied. So a hook here, this thing is a variable that stores a list of functions that are called at some point on when we run iSearch forward. So we can add something. There is a function that is called add hook. So you can see at the bottom, so if we go there, so add hook, it takes a hook, that this variable, that is a list of a function to call at somewhere, and a function in the simple case. So that function, we are going to call it so for search outline and show the match. Okay, not the math, but the match. So show match. We don't have it right now, but we are going to write that function here. that function take no argument. Here we don't put we put anything in the docstring. And now what we want to do is to use, so we have it there, that function. So let's see what it does. So arcshow set visibility, it take one argument that say the kind of visibility that we want around the point we are. So we can have nil, minimal, local, ancestor, lineage tree. So there are many things. We can look at arcshow context details, and we see here that in general when it use iSearch, it use how do they call it? They call it detail. So it uses a detail name lineage. So maybe we can use this one because it seems to work correctly with iSearch, and we can show what does it how it works. Here we will use iSearch and search for foo, and we will see how this is open. So we are going to do the exact same visibility that is done out of the box by iSearch and orgmod using lineage. So let's go back to not here. So not. We have it here, arcshow set visibility, and we are going to put lineage. We have it, so we have a show match. So we can see here that function how it works in foo. So let's say we match foo, but we so far we don't we haven't had this hook. Huh? So we don't see the thing, but the cursor had moved. If we passed it in the mini buffer and evaluate it, it will do what we want, which is to change the visibility. So we have that visibility. Okay, so now we can go back. So we can go back and do it the right way. So here we have it evaluated. We have it, we add the hook before we use iSearch, and we use dash show dash match. And when we end the function, we don't want to have that hook. So we have it here. We want to remove it. So removed hooked. We remove from the hooked iSearch update post hook. We remove show match. So normally, bear with me, we add the hook, this one, before we use the iSearch command here, and each time we are going to match something, and only something with that filter that is on the headline, we are going to call show match, which will, as we can see here, change the visibility. And when we are done with the search here, we removed that hook. So here, to be sure that we have everything evaluated, we evaluate it again. And now we hope that we don't miss anything. So we go back here in foo. We are going to hide it, and now we use it. Okay, so you see in the mod line that we called it. We look for foo again, and this work. It changed the visibility, and we match the foo that was on the headline that was hidden. So this is all that I wanted to show you today, except that there is something that I want to mention that I just remember making the video that I wanted to show you something that is from Okay, sorry, so I want to show you something that in the video that we did yesterday. Okay, so we can go to the channel because there was something for the evil user. So yesterday we did something. Okay, so yesterday it was Emacs Sleep is everywhere. This is not a joke. Look at query replace regular expression command. And we were doing something that we used Emacs Sleep in the replace string that we when we replace the match. And here we have a Kapustin Alexander that that give us the same solution, but for the evil users. So here is a solution for the evil or evil. I don't know how you call it for you, and that's it. Thank you to comment the video, to like them, and to subscribe to the channel. It's really cool. And please reach out if you have some question or improvements that I can do to the video. And see you next time.